The camera industry is currently vibrating at a frequency we haven't felt in years. If you've been hanging out in the forums or tracking the big three as we enter 2026, you know the air is thick with anticipation. We're standing on the precipice of a new era for Nikon, and the name on everyone's lips isn't a niche, experimental product. It's the successor to the camera that arguably saved the brand's professional reputation. We're talking about the Nikon Z8 II. The rumor mill isn't just whispering anymore, it's screaming. The loudest noise is coming from the video department. When Nikon acquired Red Digital Cinema, we knew the landscape would shift, but nobody expected this cinematic DNA to integrate this quickly. The most persistent leaks suggest the Z8 II will feature internal REDCODE RAW and our 3D workflows directly in the recording options. Imagine a Z8-sized body delivering 12-bit or even 16-bit RAW with a color science that has defined Hollywood for a decade. We are hearing reports of 8K 60p becoming the new baseline, but with a massive twist: unlimited recording. Rumors point to a completely redesigned thermal pathway using new carbon fiber composite materials that act as a passive heat sink, ensuring the dreaded overheating icon becomes a relic of the past. But this isn't just for the filmmakers. The still photographers are getting a massive boost in the brain department. While resolution is expected to stay in that 45 to 50 megapixel sweet spot, the magic is in the speed. We're looking at a refined stacked sensor with readout speeds fast enough to eliminate rolling shutter artifacts, even in high-frequency LED environments. Powering all of this is the rumored EXPEED 8 processor, which could push burst rates to 30 frames per second in full RAW with an AI-driven autofocus system that feels less like tracking and more like telepathy. This predictive AF 2.0 is rumored to recognize not just eyes, but the specific intent of a subject, detecting the difference between a bird about to take flight and one just sitting on a branch. The biggest hurdle for the Nikon Z8 II isn't the technology, it's the hierarchy. Nikon has a delicate balancing act to perform. They have to make this camera better than the original Z8 and competitive enough to fight off the Sony A1 II and the Canon R5 Mark III, but worse, enough that professionals still have a reason to buy the flagship Z9. This is the Goldilocks challenge. If Nikon gives the Z8 II a global shutter or 120 frames per second RAW, the flagship becomes redundant. The goal is to find that middle ground where it feels like the ultimate hybrid. The industry is also watching to see if Nikon will use this release to redefine the prosumer experience. There is talk of a $9.44 million EVF that finally matches industry leaders, providing a blackout-free experience that feels as organic as an optical viewfinder. They also have to address the ergonomic evolution, making a camera rugged enough for a war zone but light enough for a 12-hour wedding. Rumors suggest a modular grip system and a significantly deepened thumb rest to make the body feel like an extension of the hand. You can't have a release this big without a little drama. The first point of contention is the timeline. With the original Z8 still being a world-class machine, some early adopters who bought during the late 2025 discounts might feel a sting. Then there's the price controversy, with early whispers suggesting a launch of $4,499, sparking debate over whether Nikon is moving strictly into professional-only territory. Furthermore, the Z8 II is under immense pressure to be perfect out of the box to maintain the built-like-a-tank reputation that defined the F-mount era. Despite the challenges, there is an undeniable electricity in the air. The Nikon Z8 II represents the moment the new, agile, cinema-focused Nikon finally comes into full bloom. It's the convergence of legacy optics and futuristic processing power. If these rumors are even 80% accurate, we aren't just looking at a better camera. We're looking at a tool that bridges the gap between photographer and cinematographer in a way we've never seen before.